Hey folks, and welcome back to Rising Nomad, and today I am in Serbia and I'm happy to be giving you a life update about my digital nomad lifestyle as an entrepreneur and musician traveling around the world, living in two different countries, Thailand and Serbia. And basically, it's been a while since I've been on this channel. My name is Eric, I'm the host of Rising Nomad, this channel, and thank you for watching. I was going to do a lot more videos in Copenhagen, in Thailand this past season, but I didn't end up doing it, so sorry about that. I just got a little bit diverted in different sort of life endeavors. So yeah, the update is this: I'm back in Serbia after almost an accident right there. Okay. I'm back in Serbia after several months in Thailand. Since October was the last time I was here. It's the middle of May now, and really happy to be here. And bouncing between the two bases is always really interesting, because the two countries offer very different lifestyles, let's say, with a very different focus and a very different sort of like way that I am treated in both countries as a digital nomad. I'm from Canada, originally of German and Slavic background. My family's from close to here in Slovakia, ethnically German, and I moved to Serbia sort of like trying to find something that was sort of like my roots. I'm also part Ukrainian in 2008, and I integrated into the society, whereas Thailand is a place that I started going in 2017, where I am and will always be a complete gringo, right? So I integrated in this society, and I speak the language, and I know the mentality of the people. A lot of the culture is not very foreign to me at all, because I grew up with it with my family, who are from pretty close to this region. And it's just like the two experiences are vastly different. So now that I'm back here, I can definitely say I feel a lot more grounded in Serbia. Thailand, and especially Copenhagen, the island where I live in Thailand, it's like you're living in an illusion. It's like lots of things about the life there are really fake. Lots of people go there to escape, and I'm one of them. Let's be honest. I came here to Serbia to encounter something more real in life. And then I ended up going to Thailand because I like the weather, the general ease of everything there. The culture is very nice as a host culture. Whereas Serbia, it's a lot more prickly, real, raw, authentic, and resonates with the actual deeper character of my soul. So, what's it like? What was it like spending the last 6 months in Thailand? And what's it like living a lifestyle as a man like me these days? Where to start? Oh my God. So for those of you who know me, you know a lot of things that I have going on. For those who don't know me, well, let me give you a short update on that stuff. So basically, I am a digital nomad working online only since 2013, and an expat since 2008 when I decided to leave Canada to move here to Serbia. And along the way, I've always been a musician and an IT guy, specifically IT support, and specifically rock, punk, and world music mixed together. So, I've been remote only since 2013. I started my business supportive venture. We now have about 200 people around the world working through our company for various clients in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, Ireland. I think those are all the countries. And basically we find people jobs that they can work through our staffing company in the IT support industry. And that's been massively successful. I mean, 200 people is not small. I'm still surprised that I managed to pull it off. So I run that online, and one of the things, and also as a musician, I do all sorts of stuff like, I have a music venue in Copenhagen. I've toured Europe so many times with my musical project, Eric and the World's Least Savages. in various lineups and manifestations. Haven't done it in a couple years now, since 2023, because everything was just so overwhelming. I don't know. There's lots that happened. But we do have a venue in Koh Phangan in Thailand. And the thing about Phangan and the sort of like vibe there is you have to, it's like a completely DIY scene. And yeah, and also I own a country house here in Serbia, and I've rent an apartment in the city center of Belgrade. And I have 2 villas in Thailand where I'm based over there. And so everything, all of the lifestyle stuff, this is why I don't make so many YouTube videos anymore at the moment. Over there in Thailand, now that I got into the mechanics of, villa management and being a foreigner there, running a music venue, all that sort of stuff, life became a bit overwhelming. Because these countries, like I'd include both Thailand and Serbia in this, they're good for pleasure. If you want to just enjoy, you'll find lots of friendly people who will welcome you to their country as a guest. And it's awesome. You can have a great impression of both. As a traveler, they're super welcoming, both of them. In Serbia, it's a lot easier to get to know locals on a deep personal level. In Thailand, it's really hard. It's a huge difference in culture. But yeah, once you actually live in these countries and you get into doing business in them, and you have your idea of how things should work that comes from the West or whatever, you're going to be constantly smacked in the face with the reality that things don't work the way that you expect them to. And this is the problem, folks. You have to adapt. And things don't happen that you want to happen, need to happen. There's an unpredictability to doing business in both countries. And yeah, it's just a constant frustration, I suppose. Dealing with local providers, cultural differences, bureaucratic systems, all that sort of stuff. So it's overwhelming in both places. But, luckily, I have people in both places now who help me manage my different stuff, like the accommodations and business entities in those countries. And, it functions reasonably well, but it's still a constant sort of source of frustration. And so, yeah, that's a nutshell. Good for pleasure, bad for business. And the similarities are vast. There's the same level of economic development in each country, They're not like poor countries, but they're not rich countries either, both Thailand and Serbia. In both of them, you have rich people and you have poor people. And, middle class that sort of straddles the middle. And, right now I'd say the cost, and the same issue right now, well, as with everywhere, the cost of living has gotten much higher. And only some people's wages have gotten higher. So, yeah, now we're getting onto the city center of this town, which is called Lazarevac, which is the closest place to my countryside property here in Serbia. It's about 20 minutes drive from there. And yeah, nice little town that has everything you need. I'm here, it's Sunday morning, I'm here for the gym. Lots of people are already out having coffee. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, the journey as an expat living in Serbia and then becoming a expat in Thailand, making music in both places, and both places don't have very good music scenes for the type of music that I like to make, even though it is inspired by Serbian Balkan culture. That sort of worldly mix of Serbian Balkan culture and other styles of music is not incredibly popular here. It's dominated by the domestic version of Balkan culture, which is essentially disposable pop music, which massacres the local folk music. I'd say that of the two places, Serbia is the much more musical place. It has much more arts and culture in the European sense, and yeah, that's one big lack in Asia. And yeah, it's just all about perspective, folks, and what kind of life you can live, what kind of stuff you can do in the places where you end up. One thing that I really do like a lot more on the island in Thailand where I live is basically the types of expats that come there. You know, if we were to compare Belgrade and Bangkok, the types of people might be similar to some extent. However, comparing Copenhagen to the types of expats in Serbia, I'd say we have a much more interesting mix in Copenhagen. So that's pretty good. But in terms of the culture itself, Serbian culture is definitely much more up my alley. Now let's talk about the weather. The weather in Thailand is hot. It's always hot. And sometimes it rains. Here in Serbia, you very much have 4 seasons. This is the spring season in May. It was about 7 or 8 degrees overnight. It's going to go up to about 21 degrees today. So you get a taste of the cold and taste of the warm. I was a little bit shocked when I got here after 6 months in Southeast Asia and had to encounter, temperatures below 25 degrees. But, I don't mind 15 to 18. Right now it's about, I think, 13, 14. So we're getting there. I'm wearing shorts, walking around, but wearing this, it's fine. But definitely a shock. And that was what drew me to Thailand initially, was the weather. And then I fell in love with the culture and the way it welcomes people and who I could be as a gringo in Thailand. And initially I was drawn to Serbia of who I could be as a gringo, a little bit less of a gringo, but still a gringo in Serbia in 2008. And I lived that out for many years and loved it so much for many years. And this was my place and these were my people and all this sort of stuff. And, when I moved here from Canada, I felt like I'd learned all I could from Canada and its culture. And then, now that I spend more time in Thailand than I do here, I almost feel like I've learned pretty much all I can from being a human being in Serbia. I don't know, at different stages of life, different places resonate. This is where I became a man. I was 25 years old when I moved here. And, just women are women, men are men in this society, and in a very real way that's not present in Canada. And Serbian women, intense and beautiful. And I can't say that it hasn't been amazing, but unfortunately I failed to find the type of long-term partnership that I always deep down wanted in this country. And it continues to be a struggle in Thailand. So, I don't know, that's probably more on me and what's wrong with me and my psychology. Even though I am doing a lot of work on that stuff, than it is to the people and the places. Because I don't settle easily and, I don't, settle down easily. I don't limit my possibilities very easily, if you know what I'm saying. The world is open to possibilities for somebody like me. And, at the age of 42, I'm starting to see that I need to limit myself a bit more. So having these 2 bases and going between them works really well, gives me an element of predictability that I really crave at this point in my life. Having reached the success that I always wanted from business, from the IT industry, from working remotely, that I was dreaming of since 1999. It was when I started being an IT tech for money, I was always dreaming of having a location-independent lifestyle, and I've done that in a big way. 200 people are working for the company and doing it with me, according to my vision, having made it a reality. And my music, I toured Europe so many times with my band, or in front of crowds at festivals and packed clubs and all that sort of stuff. And what the fuck, I did that too. And so it's not inconceivable that I would now be able to hit a next stage where I'm still doing all of that stuff, but can find, a nice way to have children, a nice way to settle down somewhere. Maybe have a dog, who knows? And yeah, there's some of the beautiful accordion music that you encounter here in Serbia. So yeah, I'm a little bit, the truth about the thing is that living in different places and having the option to go anywhere and do anything, psychology has shown that people who have more options are less happy, actually. So what does that mean? It means that I'm a lost gringo in the world sometimes. That's how I feel. And sometimes it's just like, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. This is the life. This is the best life. One of the best lives, most amazing lives that anybody has ever lived in the world before. I have a relative amount of safety, wealth, freedom, health, the opportunity to travel the world, meet all types of different people. I was just in China for a few days. That was cool. I'll tell you maybe in another video, maybe in this one. But anyways, yeah. To be honest, it's like, what? At the same time, like having all those options kind of makes you a little bit scared of, your identity shifts every time you go to a different place. I'm not really tied down. The more I have villas, music venues, countryside properties in Serbia, companies in different countries, the more noise there is that sort of does tie you down. But at the end of the day, one of the best things about, this shift is I left behind the sort of like aura of stress of all my Thai sort of stuff when I came to Serbia. And, it's easy to sort of like jet to a different country. But at the same time, it is a bit of a lack of commitment. And, but I'm an entrepreneur. And so my commitment is actually not to being the guy every day there, but to setting up systems that run themselves, systems that fulfill the needs of other people and fulfill the needs of whatever bureaucracy or business or financial whatever, without me actually being there all the time. So, I'm always looking for partnerships. I'm not asking you to pitch your business to me, but partnerships where I can do the things I love, like music, tech, and traveling the world with less friction for me and more vision being implemented. I need those people to work with me who are the steady integrators of what a scatterbrained entrepreneur like me can actually envision. I can do everything. I'm competent. But there's a burnout that comes when it's Eric doing everything all the time for everybody. That's the source of a lot of burnout, which I have after building a company that has 200 people in it, which I have after being a touring musician, writing the songs, driving the van, booking the hotels, booking the gigs, everything, like that. And, people don't understand, just because I willingly do things in one moment doesn't mean that I want to do those things every day. I'm the sort of person who chases shiny objects. I've been looking into this neurodivergence a lot recently, and I have, ADHD. I've known this for a long time, and I'm also somewhere on the autism Asperger's spectrum. Yay, which means my brain works a lot differently than a lot of people, and there's certain challenges trying to fit into a traditional life, traditional society, and do things like everybody expects other people to do. I have to emulate my ability to do that and then not get distracted when I'm doing that fucking boring shit that people are happy doing. Some people are happy doing every day in their lives. So yeah, what helps with that is routine and fitness to regulate my nervous system. I think today will be day number 188 or something that I've been to a gym every day. That's where I'm going now after I make this video. It feels really good. Healthy food also feels really good. But in getting here, I really spun out in one of those, like, I don't care sort of like let's just get through this sort of trips where I was eating junk, drinking too much alcohol on the way, and just sort of, you know, trying to get through it, let's say. So I was in China on the way. One night in Bangkok, 2 nights in China, and then landed in Belgrade. And I landed in Belgrade on Tuesday. There was a nice direct Air Serbia flight from China. And I, landed on Tuesday. Immediately did 3.5 hours of Zoom calls that day. So that was tough. And then I had company strategy planning meetings. So I didn't really catch my normal stride until yesterday, which was Saturday. And felt like I was fully landed, which was, you know, the day I woke up in the countryside. I was in the Belgrade apartment for a couple of days, dealing with jet lag and all that sort of stuff, adapting to the cold weather, eating some of my favorite Serbian junk food, all that stuff. And I'm back to the routine, almost. I mean, tomorrow's Monday, it's Sunday today. I'll be back to the healthy eating routine tomorrow. But yesterday was pretty healthy, but you know, a large amount. Just getting all those European nutrients in my body. And yeah, so it's like the whole thing is still a work in progress. And I think this video will show how much I've to myself in the future, how much at this point I had achieved, and how much I still had not stabilized within myself, hoping that I succeed, that I will stabilize, you know, and what's the next thing? Am I gonna have children, build a family and stuff like that? That would fit in really well in my current setup, current life, apart from the digital nomad thing, you know? Finding a partner is really hard in the digital nomad space. Someone who wants to travel with you as well. But I believe it will happen. I have faith in the fact that the type of person that I need, who understands my space cadet neurodivergent brain, is out there. And I just need to be open and not sabotage it. So yeah, that's where I'm at, folks. For the next few months, I don't have any plans to go anywhere for about the next month, but I might just decide to get on a plane one day, because it is Europe and we have direct flights to lots of different European countries from here. I'm thinking about going to Spain and the Netherlands are the two ones that I'm thinking of most. Netherlands because there's some really close friends there who I haven't seen in a couple years. And shout out to Britton and Casper there. And also, I'm going to North America, New York City. I'm going to fly in the middle of June. My mom's birthday is on the 21st of June. I'll be in Toronto for that, where I grew up. Check in there. It was very nice last June, because I hadn't seen the city when it was warm, because I always visited in December when it was cold. Last year I got to see it in June. It was very nice. But it's all very emotional, folks. It's all very emotional, getting to know yourself in different places and then leaving those places and those people and those connections that you've built. I'd like to give a couple more shout outs, if they're watching this, to Daryl and Maria here in Serbia, who are helping me with a lot of stuff here, including the countryside property. So thank you so much for your work. And also Georgina Hemingway in Kapangan, Thailand, who's helping me with a lot of the stuff there, organizing the stuff, and with the supportive interest stuff online. Who else? Pete and Chris from the Worldly Savages. My band members, and also Dushan and Andrew, who joined us for the season in Thailand, and it was quite the intense season. Yeah, everything's so intense over there, and so I'm happy to be here in this nice spring weather, and stay tuned. I don't know when the next video is going to be, but I hope you enjoyed this 25-minute update, and we'll see. You also might see some action on the Belgrade Beat channel. You know, now that I'm back in Serbia. I only made one video on that channel last year, but I might do more. So thanks a lot, and I'll catch you guys later.